Hello my friends, how are you today? Listen, Bob Brown here. Hey, I've got another episode of the Networking Nomads Spotlight for you. This is actually episode 2, and what I do in these Spotlight episodes is that I actually interview different individuals that are either network marketers, that are social media influencers, or that are flat out taking massive action to grow their business. And so today I've got a special guest all the way from China. His name is Bruno Schuyten, and Bruno's got an amazing story. He went through some difficult times, lost some family members, transformed his life, and is now using his story to impact the lives of others. He's using social media to be able to do that with, and he's becoming a real influencer in his marketing space as well. So today we're going to go ahead and jump on, and I'm going to let you see that interview, and I'll be back right after the interview to kind of share a couple other things with you. So let's jump in there, and I'll talk to you in just a minute.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon.
How are you, my friend?
Good. Yourself?
Fantastic. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Right,
just got started with my day. Finished my morning routine. Up and running.
Share a little bit about who you are and where you live and how you got there.
Okay, so my name is Bruno Schuyten. I'm basically from Belgium, though there is 6 years plus that I'm living in Shenzhen, China. I'm originally a trained chef in French gastronomy, and I started learning also Italian cuisine, and then I started moving around Europe, learn a bit of Spanish food, German food, and else. Moved into China for the simple reason that I was looking for entrepreneurship, and back in Europe, the economy was going up and down, and most people were pretty much negative about starting your own business, too much risk, too much taxes. I came to visit my brother who was in China, and everybody I met was like, oh, you're a chef, why don't you open your restaurant? So I was like, okay, am I not in China, supposed to be communist country somehow? And so I just got super excited. I came here a couple months later for make a new life, and that happened. So I basically hit a couple bumps in the road. My little brother died from a lung cancer a couple months after I arrived in China. So there I started drinking a bit more and partying a bit too much. Well, at 24-year-old, alone, no parent, no family, nothing around.
Right.
You can understand that.
Sure.
So I kept on working from job to job until I get the courage to start my own business. At the time, I met a girl, and I started living with her in her apartment. We hit the road running, and then she's like, well, why don't you start your own business? That's what you always wanted to do, so just get started, and you and I live together, so I'm gonna cover the rent, and you don't worry about that. So indeed, I get started. I used the very few bits of saving that I had to get started, and then as soon as I've got everything settled down, my mother passed away from a cancer that generalized, which then hit me very hard, because as you can understand, I was just getting back from my little brother, and I was just getting started in my new business, which was scary because I've never had a business before. So I did all the things that I should not have done. Drugs, alcohol, party, just completely messing up everything. And all of that was just due to depression. Of course, I did not do that for the fun of it. I did that to just suppress my feelings.
Sure.
And after a year and a half, almost 2 years in, I met somebody through essential oil. So I've seen a post online of somebody saying that you can cook with essential oil, and I was like, so I decided to go and meet that person. I got introduced to the founder of the team here, and she explained to me the difference in quality in between the essential oil that we are using and other essential oil on the market. So I saw an opportunity for my business, because I was basically teaching people how to cook Western food, because here in China, everything that's Western is. So that was my business. And I saw an opportunity to be different than others because nobody was cooking with essential oil. So I went with it.
Now, let me ask you a real quick question. Sorry to interrupt, but did you actually start? Were you cooking in a restaurant, or was you just cooking for yourself and other people?
Now, so I basically, when I was with that girl, I basically started a cooking school business. You probably can see the page that is there on my Facebook. That is TIC. This is cooking. I chose TIC because this is China, and this is China is the sentence we say for everything that is pretty bad. So you go out to get some food and you get food poisoning. This is China. And that's a common trait. So I wanted to change the image of this is China by this is cooking and showing Chinese people how to cook proper food without killing people. And so, well, my ex-girlfriend at the time ended up asking me to leave because I was on so much drugs, so much alcohol, and so not there that she was just like, it's too much for me, which I understand. I can't really judge for that, which led me to basically not having any money, having a hard time finding an apartment. And with all the drugs and alcohol, I basically messed up, came back home very early in the morning, like 6, 7 a.m., washed my passport just before going to one of my class where I taught people how to cook. And when I come back from the class, I open the washing machine and I see a photo of me stick on a t-shirt, and I'm like, what is that? What happened? And I check in and I see it's my passport. I'm like, no. So, well, from one thing to another, I end up being homeless in Hong Kong for about 3 weeks because basically embassy was in a holiday, and the visa situation in China makes it that you have to have the visa proper and everything. So it's been a real journey, but that journey really led me to be a bit more open-minded and to realize that I was in charge of my life. How did I learn that? Well, after 3 weeks of being homeless, I finally got my temporary passport and temporary visa to go back to China to get my full passport that is in Guangzhou. And I had only 14 Hong Kong dollar left. Wow. And I was like, there is 3 days I haven't eaten anything. So I'm probably just gonna go and grab a sandwich and a bottle of water. I'm gonna be happy with that. And on my way to the 7-Eleven, I see a guy that's got literally a hole caved in his stomach. He was obviously homeless for more than I was and haven't had food in much longer than I did not. So I look at myself with the sandwich and the bottle of water, and I'm like, I'm going home tonight. I can wait a couple hours. That guy probably does not. Wow. So I go and I basically offer him the meal, and he said, okay, but in exchange, I want to hear your story. I was a bit surprised but I'm not judging, and I had a bit of time, so I explained to him the death of my brother, my mother, starting my business, and I was all along, I was complaining about my journey, being sad and being the poor little Calimero, that the life is too unfair, and the guy was listening and being very, very, very understanding, very compassionate, and he was like, I understand your pain. You've gone through a lot. You had the right to do that. I'm really sorry for you. And then I'm like, okay, so what about your story? And the guy basically in his country, which is at war, he was in the army. He was with 9 other people, which all died in front of him. And so basically he had to leave the country illegally, which makes him a deserter. So he could not even use his passport to cross border because he would be sent back and probably be executed, because in his country the death sentence is still legal. Listening to his story and knowing that he has family that he cannot ever see ever again because of that war, and I was like, okay, that guy had literally no choice.
Right.
It was dying, or leaving the country and be homeless. And on my way back home, long bus ride, it was probably 45 minutes, but it felt like days. Continuously thinking about his story and my story. Something was really hurting in my heart because I was like, there's something that's not right. His story is hurting me so much. I realized that what was not sitting very well is that life was unfair. Yes, but not to me. Life had been unfair for that guy. All the time I've been whining and bitching and moaning about my little problems when that guy has worse problem and he's friendly and he understands my pain and he's just not judging. And so that really hit me like a baseball bat. I was responsible for all of the trouble I was in. It was me. I put myself in that. I took the drugs. I drank the alcohol. I did not sleep. I did not eat. I watched the passport. I did all of that by myself, to myself. So I did not have the right to complain. And so on that day, I decided to just make a big change because, as you can imagine, I understood that it was my life and my mistakes. So I had the power to fix it. So with the help of the essential oil and wellness community that I got in touch just before being homeless, I learned how to detox. I went to live at the beach for a couple months just to cleanse myself and get away from the city for a bit. I was not sure what I was going to do. I was using those essential oil to detox myself. I had very good result and it had helped me overcome a lot of things. So I decided to give it a chance and to learn a bit more about it. In the meantime, I was still smoking. I met a girl and she hated smoker. She hated the smell of smoke on the clothes. And so she decided to just be like a girlfriend and be like, you gotta quit smoking. And I was like, yeah, not happening. Because she knew what she wanted.
Because I mean, that's pretty amazing, you know, again, I mean, the story about your mom and your brother and the things that they went through and the things that she's sharing with you wants to make a difference in your life. And yet it still took a while for you to actually let that sink in and get through to you, didn't it? Wow.
Yeah, it did take time. It took me 2 years to get over all of that. And it took me a good year of detoxing plus 2 years of constant paying attention to my diet and staying away from sugar because too much alcohol tend to make you insulin resistant. So
now you got into, I mean, again, when I hear your story, and I know I've heard bits and pieces of it, and it's been really, really kind of amazing to hear the transformation that's taken place. But I think it's great because a lot of people, I think, miss out on, you know, that aha moment that you had. And so to really make that transformation and say, listen, I've got to take responsibility for my own actions, for what's going on in my life. If something's going to be different, you know, it's going to have to start with me. And that's what happened with you. You actually made that decision to say, okay, let's make some changes in my life. And again, I think this is important too, because a lot of people think that, okay, well, we're just going to make the changes that's going to happen overnight. But this is a process that we go through in a lot of times. And that's where, you know, we start changing and moving in that direction. And that's like business as well. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. I think a lot of people get involved with business, whether it be network marketing or any other type, and they think that okay, well, I'm in this now, so I should be making, you know, millions of dollars by next week, and it doesn't happen. They go, well, I'm done with this, so that's not gonna work. So, but I think, you know, just listening to your story and seeing that and recognizing the fact that you know you have allowed this to change. You started this now in the essential oil business, and let me ask you this, because this was one of the questions I had for you. Because I think now you've got something that's motivating me. Tell me a little bit about your why. What is it that actually motivates you to continue to get up? You shared with me before we kind of started this interview about your daily morning routine and how that works, and share a little bit about that as well. And what is it that drives you right now to keep going forward?
Yeah, so what really is my main driver is the fact that I went through all of that. I understand that not everybody has the right tools, the right education on how to deal with feeling, emotion, shit hitting the fan and other stuff happening in life, because life will always happen no matter who you are. You can be rich, you can be poor, you can be whoever you want, you can be a prince, a king. it doesn't matter. Life will happen to you. You will lose people. You will go through accident, problem, and stuff. And not everybody is prepared for that.
Right.
Like myself, my parents never taught me how to handle my emotion. It's just something, yeah, well, you're a guy, don't cry, keep going, keep moving. And so you tend to bury, and I see it around me all the time. A lot of people keep on burying that. And I want to share my story, even though every time it makes my girlfriend cry and it makes me very emotional. I want to share my story, even if people have to judge me for that. I really don't care, because I am sure that my story has the power to help, even if it's only one person, to overcome that kind of challenge. Be it in business, because business, when I started, I thought that I would be making a lot of money in a couple months because I'm good, I'm me, I got a business, I'm a business owner, I'm a CEO, I'm whoever I was. Right. And of course, I did not do the right thing for the business. So it led me to just fail and then fail again and fail again. And that's really the most important message, is that yes, life will happen, but if you prepare yourself, I read every morning after my meditation and my gratitude, because I'm in the right mind to absorb some knowledge from people who have gone through also a lot of things, because most of the people who write a book have something to say. Mm-hmm. And I force myself to do that because I've learned through my mentor in the Essential Oil business that leaders are readers, and there is a reason for that. If you don't read, you don't learn, and if you don't learn, you don't grow, and if you don't grow, there is no way to lead.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for me too. Is I'll be hitting 57 next month, and I've always considered myself a life learner, and always continually reading and educating. I kind of almost to I love learning new things, especially when it deals with the things that I'm passionate about. And so I'm always reading books and taking courses and studying and learning. And I think that's such an important thing, because life is always a lesson, and it's what you get out of it. And you're still learning that lesson, and it doesn't matter. And if your heart's open and you're receptive to what's going on in your life, you're going to continue to mold, shape, be changed into that person that you were created to be. So that's the important part of this as well. And I think that's what's exciting for you, and just kind of seeing what's happening with your story. That's what I think attracted me to you. But I want to kind of switch subjects just a little bit here, because I want you to kind of share, you just hit a milestone with kind of your Instagram and what's going on with that. But how did you get involved? Why Instagram? Tell a little bit about how we met and that milestone that you just hit, and what you want to see happening with your Instagram account.
Yeah, so about, I don't know, I would say about a year ago, my mentor got me into a training about social media networking. So how to find new leads and new people for your business in social media. And so I basically got started and gave it a try. I'm generally not much of a social media person, so I was just trying and poking buttons around and just trying to make ends meet. And it took me quite a while to get up to like 250, maybe 300. And then I see on, I can't remember if it's on Facebook or on YouTube, your ads on the free PDF on how to master the social media game. And I was like, well, it's free. He's got a couple thousand followers. I think you were around 10,000 followers at the time. And I'm like, well, at least he's doing something better than I do. I might learn something from him. And so I got in touch with you. You've been super, super, super helpful since day one. Always bringing value, even when I was not expecting it. And I just had a simple question. You just brought tons of value every single time. And then I took in that PDF. I started reading it and following your step-by-step. Very simple, very simplified for newbie like I was. And in, I don't know, I would say about 3.5 months, I passed from 250 to 300 up to like now 1,000 and I don't know, 1,050 followers, something like that.
And that's a
Yeah,
big milestone when you're first starting out. Oh, that's fantastic, man. I was
1,054.
fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, I remember for me when I first kind of started out, 1,000 was a big number to be actually to be able to get to. And then I mean, because let me ask you this, what's your next milestone that you're kind of looking for?
I will be looking up to the 5,000, but I will be also looking up to reaching out to people.
Very good.
Because I've got good traction and I'm starting to have a community feeling when I'm connected to Instagram, which I was not expecting at first because I was just, it's social media, it's just you post picture and that's it.
Right.
But I started building relationship with you, with G, with another 200 people more or less. So it just started from nothing and just a comment here, or an answer here, a like there, and then it just led to making new friends, which is pretty cool.
Well, that's a good thing about the social media. Again, when I got into that too, it was kind of just another platform for me, and I wasn't real sure how it was going to work out. I'm a visual person. I like photography. I like that. I figured, okay, if I was using that, that would probably be a good thing, and I could, do that as well. And I saw it begin to grow as well. And then I began to build relationships from that as well. And so that's what really excited me about social media. And that's what really excited me about you. And that's part of the reason why, I've got the networking Nomads Spotlight, and why you're on this is because you're an action taker. And obviously you downloaded that book. We connected. We started chatting. You started implementing, and you saw results right away. And that's the exciting thing is that I love being around and helping out people that want to grow. And so, because I give out a lot of those books. I mean, I've given out hundreds and hundreds of those, and some people have taken, the advice from that and grown, but, there's a lot that just get the materials and don't do anything with it. So when somebody...
Yeah, the majority of people, basically, they take it and then they're like, yeah, okay, it's good,
yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
And they're not doing and not applying.
Yeah, and I was guilty of that too. I mean, my hard drive is full of stuff that I've collected over the years and not done anything with. But it's not
guilty as charged.
And it's not until we start implementing those things and start doing, taking action on those things that we see results from that. And that's why I get really excited about this. And even, those people that are coming into our networking nomads community on the Facebook group that we have there, those are people that a lot of them are starting to now, take some action and get some traction. G was another one of those, that was able to do that. I've got another gal that's just massive action right now, and she's seeing real results from a lot of different areas. From her business as well. And that's what's really exciting. One of the things I love about network marketing is, again, you're in China, I'm in California, and yet we're on, technology has allowed us to be able to be on and communicating with each other, encouraging each other, and getting excited about business and what's going on with that. So that's part of the reason, I really like, being involved in network marketing. Obviously, you do something a little different than I do. We're both involved in the health and wellness, which is good, and that's fantastic. But it's okay that we can actually get on and communicate and help each other out, because I'm sure, as you're growing too, and I think that's the desire. And that was another question I have, that I was going to ask you is that, you were telling me a little bit about your why, but what is it that you're currently obsessed with? What do you want to see taking place in your business over the next, few months? And how do you want to be able to be influencing other people? What do you see taking place in your life? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I'm on the side working with my team on recording some podcasts, and I would just, why do I choose the podcast? Well, it's because it's a very convenient way to do. I will be posting the video on my YouTube channel that I've never posted anything on, just for people to have a chance to see us and build rapport if they prefer video. But it's because it gives me the opportunity to share my story and my team member's story, because everybody got through their own journey and they all learn different things along the way. I really want to be able to generate lead from online, because I'm in China and I'm not entirely fluent in Chinese. So my girlfriend is, and she has her own business. So the Chinese market is mostly for her. Now, me being in China makes it a bit more challenging, because I have to find leads in a language that I don't master, in my fifth language, because I've got French, German, Dutch, English, and Chinese. So it makes life a bit complicated. And so I really enjoy speaking in English, and social media for the most part is with English speaker, which makes it convenient for me. So I want to build a community. So as I place it all the time, my ultimate goal is to build a global team
Fantastic.
of humanitarian, health-minded entrepreneurs that will empower people with their health while empowering communities of growers, farmers, and distillers around the world. And that's why I do what I do. But the only way for me to reach globally is not by knocking door to door around the city. I have to just reach out and expand myself.
Exactly.
So going through social media, even though was not at first very comfortable, I'm getting much better at it, and I'm starting to really enjoy that journey thanks to you. And
you're doing a great job. I mean, I've loved watching your progression in this, your journey as well, and seeing how, since you started implementing some of those things, I mean, your Instagram page has changed, and I see more of you, and I see more of your personality and your influence, and how you're actually impacting people. And I think that's what's so cool about this is being able to see just how you're able to do that. And that's what's exciting when I hear you, want to build a global team and have an impact. But a lot of that has to do with your story and what you've been through. And now as you're talking about that, because I know we've talked a little bit about how important, learning those lessons in that story have been. And now you can actually take that and share that with other people because it's made a difference in your life. And people need to hear that, because I think there's a lot of people that go through different, situations and circumstances that somehow just don't know how to get through that. And hearing somebody else that say, these are some of the steps that I've taken to actually move me in a direction that's actually bettered myself and got me to a place where, I can actually earn some money or make some money and build a business or do something that's different. And that's what's really exciting about, kind of hearing what's going on with you. So that's fantastic, just to hear that. So do you have one big goal that you want to hit before the end of the year?
Yeah, before the end of the year, I would love to have reach in the company what they call gold, which would lead me and my girlfriend to basically have helped over 300 people and have at the very least, 6 real entrepreneurs who really start making their own money and be empowered through that.
Some business building.
Yeah. Other than that, my goal would be to be around 5,000 by December, because I guess once you reach a certain threshold, it starts moving a bit faster.
And I've got some things that'll help you do that as well. So we can start working on that and see if we can start moving you faster through your Instagram. And I want to kind of keep track of that as well. We want to get you to 10,000. That's what the book says. I want to kind of, maybe at 5,000, when you hit that milestone, we'll bring you back on and talk a little bit more about that. When you hit 10,000, we'll do something exciting, man, because that'll be
cool. Yeah,
definitely. And that's good. And just persistence. I think that's the key thing is consistency and being persistent at it. You're going to see that growth is going to take place. And again, when you begin to make an influence and impact in people's lives, they're it is reciprocated. And so, more people want to know who you are, what you're doing, and you just begin to grow and you become an influencer. That's the whole thing about social media and branding yourself, and how important it is to build a brand of you and sharing your story and getting others to know and to like and to trust you. That's how you do business. And that's what you're going to see starting to take place for you as well. So I'm really excited about that. So let me ask you this, Bruno. So you've got some good goals for the end of the year. That's exciting. And we're going to kind of keep our eye on those and see how those are going with you as well. If people wanted to know more about you and find out, where can they find you? Hear more about your story. You're on Instagram. What other social media platforms are you using right now?
So right now I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, WeChat. It's a Chinese social media. But for now, that's about it. I'm thinking of blogging because I think that my story would be good in written as well.
And all those things are important. And again, I think, starting off, if somebody was just getting into social media, where would you point them to? What would be the platform that you'd say to use right now?
It would depend what they're looking for. I share more information on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm very visual and very like I share my morning reading, my exercise, and my community and team building on Instagram. And then I mostly put on some inspiration on Twitter. So depending where they want to be, what are they looking for, I would be saying either one of those.
Fantastic. That's great. And I think that's because I actually started on years ago when I started with Twitter. I was able to raise a following of about 6,000 people. And then I just kind of had some other things come up, put that on hold, and it just kind of sat there for the longest time. When I got back into it, I started on Facebook again, started using Facebook and started growing my my following on Facebook. And then when I jumped to Instagram, that's really where I kind of exploded. So with Instagram, but it's a different dynamic. And then I use Instagram to bring people over to my Facebook group. And that's kind of and I just did a video on how to start a Facebook group, but and I'm going to talk more about, using Facebook groups to be able to create new warm markets for network marketers. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that a lot of network marketers have, is they burn through their warm market. Or in your case, you didn't really have a warm market to work with or deal with. And so you're having to kind of start all over, start from scratch. And so to have a place where you can actually bring people to, warm them up, get them to know, like, and trust you, build that rapport with them, build that business or that relationship with them so that you can actually do business with them. And that's a great part. So, and there's kind of different ways to do that, because Instagram's a great place to meet people, to start that, but it's not necessarily a good place to carry on conversations. It's just not designed to do that. You can use it for direct message, but it's not
harder for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's really good. And we'll talk more about that kind of stuff as well. So I'm really excited. I really do appreciate you coming on here. We've got a few more minutes. We're just going to run this out, but it may shut off on us. So just so you know.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you want to share? Anything else that you want to talk about while I got you?
Yeah, so when I say I want to build a global humanitarian team of health-minded entrepreneurs, my heart right now goes to Alan in Uganda, who is leading the Alpha Female Empowered. And I just want to be using this opportunity to be with you and to share with our network that I'm going to be running with him crowdfund or a fundraiser online to try to gather some fund for him, because his story touches me a lot, as we have a lot of things in common. He was a street kid, grew up in the street, in the slums in Uganda. And so I just love what he is doing, because he grew up like that and he made it his personal mission to help those kids that are right now in the streets, suffering, going through famine and not having food and not having shelter and stuff. And he is helping them to go to school. So I really respect what he is doing, and I really want to empower him and his team. So I just want to be sharing that, and stay tuned for that. I hope we can make a big change with him.
That's fantastic. And I think that's what the good thing is that, as we grow, we want to be able to give back. And that's really what community is all about, to help other people out. And I'm seeing that in you. And I'm just, like I said, I was touched by your story when I originally heard it, and just to see the growth that's taking place in you. And I'm excited to see, really the direction that you're going in and how you're really desiring to help other people as well. I know that you're a big influencer in our community of the networking nomads. And I really appreciate, you being in there and helping and welcoming other people, because I think you're going to be an influencer in that community as well. I'm getting new people coming in that group all the time, and it's just exciting that you and a few others are really, kind of key components, to helping to really make that community work and function like a community. So I get real excited about that when I always see you popping in there and saying hi and welcoming new people in. So, because I think you've got, like I said, I want to continue to hear more of your story, and I want you to be sharing a little bit more in that community if you'd like. Definitely open for that. So I'm really excited to have you on here. I'm looking forward to, again, seeing more of your milestones and what you're hitting as well. We will definitely be back on the Networking Nomads Spotlight again. I'm going to have you back out again. And so thank you so much, Bruno, for sharing a little bit of your story. I know sometimes it's difficult to do when you open up and do that, but I know that your story is going to touch the lives of other people, and you're going to make a difference because you're an influencer. And so I appreciate you for being here.
Really appreciate that, and thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my story and to empower others to take the same actions and just get going.
Sure.
And if I can just add that, if you don't know Bob, very well yet, just get in touch and listen. This guy really has changed my social media game with just a couple tips and tricks, a couple advice here and there, but just those little words that he has placed has made a big difference for me. So thanks a lot, Bob.
I appreciate that. And let me do this. So you have an Instagram account. What's your Instagram account name?
And I'm Bruno Schuyten.
Okay.
So just my name. Same for Facebook, and for Twitter it's Oil Nerd. So at Oil Nerd, OYLNERD.
Okay.
Why Oil Nerd? It's because own your life.
Oh, I was wondering about that.
And then nerd, nutrition, exercise, rest, and detox.
Okay.
So it's just a small wordplay.
I like that. You know, I saw that a couple times. I was just wondering, I thought it was just because of the essential oils, but now I have the meaning behind that. So that's really great. I appreciate that. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that those links are in here too as we put this video out there so people can get to know you as well and come and see and hear more and get in touch with you on your other social media platforms, maybe, you know, build that bond, that relationship as well. So again, Bruno, thank you so much for being here, and I will chat with you real soon. Okay, my friend?
Awesome. Really appreciate it.
Okay. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye.
Wow, kind of an amazing story. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Listen, if you got some value in this, do me a favor, like, comment, and share this. Go on over to Bruno's social media platforms, either Instagram, there's links below this video, and then there's some that you saw on the screen there. Make sure you go and connect with Bruno. Tell him you saw him on the Networking Nomads Spotlight, and you just wanted to connect with him. That would be a real blessing for him, I'm sure, and that way you can actually start connecting with him and see where he is and what he's doing in his social media endeavors as well. So thanks again for watching this. Listen, if you're not a part of our Networking Nomads community and you'd like to be, then I'm going to leave a link below this video here, and you can actually go over there, check us out. We are using social media to leverage, to generate more leads, sales, and signups for our networking businesses, to help other marketers to actually grow their businesses, to brand themselves, and become influencers in their market space. So if that sounds like something you want to do, then come on over and be a part of our community with us. Listen, I hope you enjoyed this. Again, have a great day, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye now.